This video is to show you some different shading techniques. For this purpose, we'll just be sketching a simple plaster shape. I've got a cylinder here, and that's going to be there in front of me. I won't keep it at this angle, however. I'm just going to keep it angled down at the paper, so you can actually see what I'm doing. But this is the shape that we're looking at. And what we're going to do, we're actually going to draw the shape 3 times and shade it using 3 different techniques. For this you'll need a couple of different pencils. I've got an HB pencil here. I also have a 4B pencil, but to be honest you could use any kind of pencil that you feel comfortable with. When we're drawing from observation, it is important to keep looking at what you're drawing. So yes, you are focusing on your paper, but spend just as much time really looking at the object in front of you. Before you do any kind of shading, the first thing you need to do is actually draw the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the cylinder. Now I'm looking at the cylinder now. It has straight edges at the side. Now if I look at it from above, I know that it's a circle. However, when I look at it from the side, that circle actually becomes more of an oval as it gets tilted towards us. So there'll be an oval shape at the top. It's a cylinder all the way down to the bottom, so the bottom is also curved, and you really need to remember that when you're actually drawing this shape. So I'm going to take my HB pencil first to start. I prefer drawing with that, it gives a sharper line. And I'm going to draw the shape 3 times. So straight lines, it's curved at the top, straight line going down, and very important to have the curved line at the bottom. At the top here, I'll draw in the rest of the shape. I'm not looking at it from the top, so it does become more of an oval. So that's 1. I'm now going to draw it a second time. Same thing, straight, curved. It's alright if it's not identical, you're not a robot after all. Down the side, and curved again here to make it the oval shape. And last time, straight, curved, and curved. You can always tidy these lines up afterwards. Alright, so I've got my 3 basic shapes. The 3 shading techniques we're going to look at today are straight shading and blending, cross-hatching, and stippling. So before you even start to shade, you want to look at the shape. Where is it light and where is it dark? Because that's why you're shading. You're shading to show the lights and darks, to use that value. Alright, so I'm looking at the shape. The top here is very light. I've got light coming straight down from the ceiling, so the top is very light. If it's that light, I'm probably not going to shade it at all. Here, it's much, much darker. So it's actually quite dark here. I'm also noticing that it's darker, certainly at the bottom, than it is at the top. Maybe a bit darker around here. I've actually got light coming in from the left as well. Doesn't show up quite so well on the video, in fact. So I've looked, I noticed where the lights and the darks are, and now I'm going to start shading. The top is light. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to shade. I'm then going to start shading. So I'm using curved lines here. You can use curved lines because that will help show the shape. Okay, I'm going to switch to a 4B pencil here because that's even darker. And as I look at the shape, I remember and I see that the right underneath here is actually really quite dark. So I'm shading that. Okay, here I'm using just curved lines, so going in the same direction as the shape. If you want, you can use your finger to smudge it a bit. That can help create a nice smooth effect. And this is what we call shading through blending. You can switch backwards and forwards between the two pencils. I don't want to overshade. I'm not going to shade the whole thing completely dark. Okay, again I'm using my finger just to make it really dark. So I can make it, I'm pressing down a bit harder here to make it really dark. I want to have that full range of value from the very darks to the very lights. Okay, so, and you continue like that. Alright, that's one. I'm going to move on to the next one now. This technique is called cross-hatching, and in cross-hatching you use series of straight lines. When the lines are further apart, you get a light effect. When the lines are closer together and overlap more, you get a darker effect. So, even though here I've got a curved surface, I can use straight lines. You can crisscross the lines different ways. That will make it much, much darker. So as it gets lighter, I have fewer lines. Again, I'm leaving the top completely blank because it is very light and I don't want to overshade that. It is the side of the cylinder here is darker than the top, so I am going to shade. Again, you don't want to, I'm trying to use that full range of value. So some areas I'm putting more lines than others. I'm going to try switching now. I've got a 4B pencil, which is darker but still hard enough to get some lines. You definitely want your pencil sharp for this cross-hatching technique. Okay, I'm just going to put a few more at the end here. Alright, great. Now, that's the cross-hatching technique. Last technique we're going to do is stippling. Now, stippling is a lot more time consuming because you're making dots. Dots that are further apart create a lighter effect. Dots that are close together create a darker effect. I am just, at this point, I'm going to start with the dark and I'm going to use my 4B pencil. And it's literally doing dots. Notice that I'm not just bashing the pencil down, that tends to break the lead. Very time consuming. So, but very effective as well. I'm going to switch to a different pencil. Now I've got my HB pencil here. It's lighter, so I can do maybe the same amount of dots, but because the color is lighter, it will give a bit more of a graded effect. As I go further into the middle, I'm spreading out the dots. Again, I'm going to leave the top part completely blank. I can draw the shape. I use my pencil and the dot technique to create the shading. So switch between the two pencils. I want to make this side bit really dark like I've done on the others. Notice the dots aren't in any sort of particular order, they're quite scattered. And if you like, you can just do little dots by dotting down. But you want to do it gently because otherwise you will break the lead. Okay, now I'm going to pause there. It is time consuming, but you get the idea. So the three types. Blending, cross-hatching, and stippling. And this is what I would like you to do. I would like you to, using the shape that's in front of you or using the picture that I'm going to put up, draw the same shape 3 times and have a go at using the 3 techniques. And aiming to create that full range of value from the very lights to the very darks.